Good evening. My name is Jamie Bascom, and I am your student's AP Chemistry teacher this school year. I want to tell you a little bit about the course, and I am sad that I won't be able to meet you in person this evening, but hopefully I'll be able to answer your questions through this screencast. And if I don't, I want to encourage you to reach out to me anytime you want to talk or check in about anything pertaining to the class. All right, so yesterday was the first day that I met your students in AP Chemistry, and I started the class with this slide in order to show them some of the some of the reasons why we're interested in studying AP Chem this year. First of all, I don't know if you can see this because I think it might be cutting off a bit, but at the bottom of the slide, it says we're here to solve the world's problems. And what I said to the students is, I actually believe that. I think that the students who have chosen to do AP Chemistry, it's one of the hardest classes at Miramani, have an intention to learn about potentially some, something that is extremely important, and it could open up a lot of different pathways for them in regards to their careers. But as far as different pathways go, I explained that chemistry is a foundational class, and every branch of science requires a knowledge of chemistry in order to solve the types of problems that scientists have. And so I just mentioned a few examples of that, one of them being COVID-19, and that, if students have an interest in solving big problems such as developing drugs that target COVID-19 or vaccines, the starting place is to learn the chemistry. In addition to that, I talked to them a little bit about the explosion that happened a couple weeks ago in Beirut, and we talked about environmental disasters that need chemists and environmental toxicologists to come in who know the chemistry in order to figure out how to deal with those problems. Last year, the students were able to engage in almost, I want to say more than 16 labs. We did labs at least every week or every other week, and that is one of the most exciting and wonderful things about AP Chemistry. This year it's been quite a challenge for me to figure out how to create that experience for your students. However, I think that we have found some resources that are going to be possible in order for the students to get a virtual lab experience. And so I'm really excited about that, and I'm going to be telling you guys about that in the next few minutes. All right, so I am going to show you next. I want to just introduce to you, this is my family, and I have one person right here. His name is Zenon, who started Miramani as a freshman this year. And this is my son Finn over here, who is a student at OIS this year, a 6th grader. Now, we are very much nature lovers, and that's part of my interest in doing science. And it also relates to why I became a teacher. So before I was a teacher, I was a scientist, and something that I really am passionate about is trying to create laboratory experiences for students to be able to really get a feeling for what science is like. And so I want to bring my experience from the lab in order to design hands-on, real problem-solving scenarios for them. And so, even with the challenge this year of not having exactly the hands-on materials, we're still going to be able to tackle lots of problems together this year. And I'm excited about that. Okay, so how are things going to go this year? It's going to be extremely fast-paced. There's 9 units that we need to study in AP Chemistry. It is a full-length college-level course. It's a chemistry 1A equivalent. And so it is going to be intense and fast-paced. The students are going to expect plenty of group work and projects. Like I mentioned, we're going to be doing virtual labs with lots of problem solving, problem sets, and we're going to also have some work outside of the class time to do. I've told students that it's expected that they will take the AP test in May. All right, and the reason for that is with all the hard work that we're going to be doing, they really owe it to themselves to take that test in order to kind of get the full experience and to feel exactly the extent of all of the content that they have covered and that they've worked hard to try to learn. Now, something that I've learned is that some of the mentor teachers for AP Chemistry have said that it actually looks better for students to have taken the test, even if they don't score, the highest of scores. Even if they kind of bomb it, it kind of looks better that they've at least tried than not. And so I've encouraged all of our students to take the test. I want to talk a little bit about grading, which is also another interesting and challenging area this year because it's honestly very difficult to authentically give a paper test, even, a free response question type test, because the kids, everybody has a mechanism for, being able to kind of share information given that they're not at school and they have computers in front of them and stuff like that. So the grading is going to be similar to last year, but the assessments are going to be a little different. So 10% of the grade is going to be homework, classwork, 20% is going to be laboratory activities, and then 70% are going to be summative assessments. On the right, you can see the types of assessments that will be for practice, for homework. There's going to be a software called WebAssign, and also textbook problems. Exit tickets and group practice, those would go into the homework area. The labs that we do, if it's the first time they're learning a technique such as titration or, percent composition like they have been working on last night, that would be considered not a summative thing, but, they'd be given a grade for trying their best. And later, the summative assessments might be, for example, after they've been given feedback on their labs, I'm going to ask them to go back and fix problems that they may have gotten wrong. So that would count as a summative assessment. Maybe a lab report, like a full-length one that we've already gone over the data after we've done problem solving in class. I may ask them to write that up as a formal summative assessment. The other thing I may do are have some oral quizzes. These will be shorter in length than what I would normally give in the classroom setting, but I might have a student walk me through their thinking for something, such as like a stoichiometry problem together or something like that. I may also do some free response types of questions and some written quizzes that I allow them to do a little bit of group work on, and I may count that as a summative piece of work if we've done it together while we're doing Zoom together. All right, so the course syllabus is on the Canvas page, and so I want you to check that out if you're interested in any of these further details. In the syllabus, I explain the classroom and Zoom behavior expectations, and I don't think I need to go into that into full length here because most of the students taking AP Chemistry really bring their very best for each class and really want to use that time well. However, I still say the same thing to them as I do my general chemistry class, which is, I ask them to please turn their cameras on and to be present and to be out of their beds and to be sitting at a desk while we're doing class. I also tell them to bring all the materials that they need for class. I'll share with you in just a minute what those are. And anyway, the syllabus also gives you some highlights about the resources that we're using for AP Chemistry that are terrific. They include Pivot Interactives, which are virtual labs. WebAssign I've already mentioned. And AP Classroom is just amazing. And so that is brought to us by the College Board, and they provide things like lectures from expert AP Chemistry instructors and summary lectures on full units, full-length unit practice tests with feedback at the end and progress checks. So that is a fantastic resource, and the students really should be doing all of the progress checks that happen at the end of each unit of study. The Zoomdoll and Zoomdoll textbook, that's a married couple that created that textbook together, is the one that they should have at home by now. And my syllabus talks a little bit about the late work policy too, and cheating policy. Okay, so what they're going to need for class is their textbook nearby. A composition book is what they're going to keep as a scientific journal. And so I'm asking for them to pick up something like this. Is nice because it has a good bind to it. And I've also said if they keep this in really good shape, I'm going to teach them how to set up a nice table of contents. That is actually something they may take with them to a college interview. You know, it might even be something that they keep and use when they take college chemistry, because a lot of them are just going to retake Chem 1A because if they are pursuing a science pathway, often it's just going to benefit them to take that course again. So, you know, it depends, but the journal is something that they need. And I also say a binder with 9 dividers for each one of our units. Since we're doing distance learning, a lot of the work, most of the work obviously is going to come virtually, but the students do have the ability, if they want to print out the different documents and create a physical binder. And it's useful, you know, to have it that way when students are getting close to the AP exam, so that they're not locked to their computers trying to find practice problems. But if they have them, you know, in a binder, then they can be pulling out sections and be sitting at a desk looking and reworking problems that come from those problem sets. All right, now let's see. Mondays are a little different than they were last year because they're asynchronous work days. And so students are going to receive a resource of some sort from me. And it could be a screencast lecture. It could be a reading assignment, a problem set. It might be a combination of these things. It might be an introduction to a lab. So they may be also assigned individual or group work. And the expectation is that they will complete this work for our Wednesday class so that we can have a discussion. And so it's more of an engaging lesson on Wednesday that's not just me speaking, but it's going to be interactive, where they are expected to bring their ideas and to share out on Wednesday. Okay, what does homework look like? I said group work. They've already received a virtual lab this week with questions to solve together, problem sets, and reading from the textbook. They should expect about 290 minutes of study for chemistry per week, and that's what's recommended by the College Board. So that's, you know, about 5 hours a week almost, and you know, we have very limited time together. So what that means is they're gonna need to do some work outside of class, a significant amount of it, in order to, you know, expose themselves to all the content that is part of the class. Okay, so this is the final thing, is how to reach me. This is my email, and I try to get back to you as soon as I can. It'll definitely be within 24 hours. but do feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or concerns. Thank you so much for your time. Good night.